The developing countries are saying, Dr. Sultan, that the issue of technology, there's a tendency by the developed countries or industrialized countries, particularly the G7, to dump the technology on developing countries. They are not transferring skills. And these countries are the ones that are struggling in terms of catching up with the developed countries who are industrialized, and they use the resources of the developing countries, particularly regions such as Sub-Sahara, to be where they are. What can we expect in terms of emphasizing the importance of technology transfer? And finally, on the way it's structured, developing countries are saying, we don't have money. If we have to repay those loans, some of the countries, they won't even afford. It's equal to their own GDPs. What can we expect from that front?
This, in fact, goes hand in hand with what the COP28 presidency has been trying to nurture. We can no longer only view climate change as a burden or as a problem or as a challenge. We must turn that narrative and change it into an opportunity, because indeed it is an opportunity. It can be seen as the new industrial revolution. It can be a new economic development program that will help create new jobs, new industries, new revenue streams, and of course ensure sustainability and sustainable socio-economic development across the globe. But to do that, we need to take a step back, we need to be realistic, we need to be pragmatic, and we need to be comprehensive and holistic in our approach. And we need to cover the whole value chain. So it cannot only be finance. Policy is in fact a critical success factor. So the regulatory framework that is custom tailored to cater for the different natural circumstances of each region or each country or each industry. And then finance must be made available, accessible, and affordable, not only by making pledges, by ensuring that the mechanisms that will allow for those who need it are easy for them to tap into, and ensure the delivery of this money on a timely basis. And then we talk about capacity building. Capacity building is essential. You cannot go through this transition if you don't invest in human capital. Human capital is going to be a building block of going from where we are into the new future. That is coupled with the ability of being able to transfer technology, but not obsolete technology, technology that is new, that is modern, that will build on advancements that have already been accomplished, and by applying scale and capital in the developing world, and that is where it is really needed the most.
Can I
that
just
is our view.
Quickly chip in, because what Dr. Sultan Al Jaber is saying here is exactly what makes me optimistic. And I am optimistic because industrialized countries are now reporting reduced emissions, not because they stopped growing, but because the new technologies are coming online, which has cut the link between economic growth and emission growth. So it works. And the good news is for developing countries is that most of these new technologies are actually allowing for less expensive energy, not more expensive energy. Because solar power, for instance, will beat coal power in most countries, and particularly those that have a lot of sun. However, you need to get to the investment. You need technology, you need the investments, you need to get the grids. So there is definitely a point about technology transfer, competence transfer, regulatory transfer of solutions, but most countries will be smart enough, I think, to choose the cheaper option over the more expensive option. And the new tends to be less expensive than the old in the long run. You just have to get to the long run, and that's why all these themes are so deeply connected, and this is what makes me optimistic, because it's actually going to be better, cleaner, and cheaper to be a modern economy than an old-fashioned economy.
And allow me to add, in an effort to help address that gap, we created a custom-tailored climate finance vehicle to act as a catalytic tool. Altera, the $30 billion announced by His Highness the President on the first day. It was created to do just that, to help bridge the gap, to help capacity building, to help ensure that we are able to apply scale and capital in bridging the gap and going through the transition. We practice what we preach, and when we commit, we deliver.